you get to carry the hand? There you go. There you go. Now it's inside that hole.
Remember, huh? You're telling me what I'm doing? What you remember, right?
Do you remember? No, you don't remember.
Okay, what I'll be doing is building a mold. Okay, sorry. I have a piece in here. It's the shape of a cross. I haven't cast this one for about 5 years. I got tired of it not turning out right. I gave up on it. I had a request for it today. I applied powder to it to keep my oil, clay, sand mixture from sticking to it. Laid inside my flask and packed the sand mixture on top as tight as I can get it.
No, we watched him. He had.
I can get the image embedded into the sand. Do you have a question there? You somewhere? That's my goat.
Oh, yes.
I have the image from one side of this piece now packed out into the sand. Before I'm finished, I will have to take the original piece out of the mold so I have room to pour the metal into it to make the copy. When I take it out of the mold, I want to come out without cracking or damaging any of the edges around the piece. Anywhere damage occurs, metal will flow into it, and I will lose part of the detail. That metal would have to be ground or filed off the finished piece. This part here, the cleanup around the piece, is usually the most time-consuming of the work on building the molds. I only have to do it on the one side. When I pack out the other half, the sand will fit like a glove right in this part where I'm carving it away.
My dad used to make these.
We're still making a mold. He's going to. He hasn't pulled it out yet, baby.
This one's a little bit harder to do than the ones I do most of.
You got some ears like that?
That's done.
They're big.
You do resemble this very, very much. Yeah, I think so.
Lulu.
Okay, after carving the sand away from the original, I powdered the entire surface, put the other half of the flask on, and I'll pack sand in on this side. That will get the image from the side of the piece packed into the sand. I still need to be able to remove the original from the mold that I'm building. Where I powdered the entire surface keeps the top and the bottom half of my flask from sticking together. It allows me to be able to easily reopen up the flask and not damage the mold when I do so.
Get up there, stand up here, put your feet right there and watch.
So far good. Sand came away from that side real nice. Those parts around the balls in the center is where I had the most difficult part. I got half of it in there so I can see where it's supposed to be. The sand usually breaks away and stays with the mold. Metal will flow in there and I lose that part of the detail in the finished piece. Before I take the original out of the mold, I need to cut some holes into it that touch up against the original. The first and larger hole that I'm cutting is called the screw. It's through this hole that I'll be pouring the metal into the mold. The metal is going to flow into the mold faster than the air that's already on the inside can get out. When that happens, air pressure builds up inside of the mold. That air pressure is enough to make the metal flow slower, giving the metal time to cool down and turn solid before the mold fills up with the metal entirely. And I'd have an incomplete piece. To keep that from happening, I will cut a series of vents or risers into the mold that just touch up against the original, and this is nothing more than giving a place for the air to come out quickly.
Sir? There you go. What should I have on there? Talk to that. Come here. What's the matter, man? Cool down?
Putting a funnel shape in my screw where I pour the metal. Gives me a larger target to aim at as I'm pouring the metal. The larger target I have allows me to pour the metal faster. I don't have to carefully line up the smaller hole. I have a bigger target to aim at. Allows me to pour the metal faster. Once I've taken it out the fire, it starts cooling down. I spend a lot of time pouring very carefully. My metal's getting too cool. It's got a long way to run, and I have to cool down all that much before it turns solid. Ready now to remove the original piece. If I were to reach down to try to pick it up with my fingers, as my fingers hit the edges of that trying to grab a hold of it, I would damage the mold. Gives it places for the metal to come out of it. Instead, what I want to do is barely break it loose. When I'm breaking it loose, I'm looking for any sand that's sticking to the edge and breaking up. This is my last chance to try to convince it that it wants to stay on the edges of the mold. So far it's looking pretty good. Once it's loose, it falls straight onto my hand.
Over there.
That's looking good. The hole that I poured, that you would hang the pennant from, looking good. Now, get the metal to flow all the way through it, and I'll be happy. Two halves across. I can put the two halves of the metal together, two halves of the mold together, and pour metal into the mold, and hopefully get a good copy of it. Because the metal has a long way to run. Just the weight of the metal that I'm putting in here would push it through, but it may not push it through fast enough before it cools down enough to turn solid. I'm going to help it with gravity. Because I'm having a steep slope like this, and I'm pouring it, the metal, can't line it up carefully enough, it's going to flow over the top of it. I want to have a nice reservoir of metal there. As the metal's on the inside cooling down, it draws from that reservoir. As it cools down, it starts shrinking a little bit. It pulls into that molten metal to keep the inside filled up. I don't want to lose all the metal over the top of it. I'm going to build a little bit of a dam. Now when I pour it, whatever wants to go down the hill, it gets pushed back in there.
Stand back a little bit, Mom.
Ready now to pour the metal into the mold. Any metal that I can melt, I can cast with this method. This one I'm casting in pewter. Pewter is an alloy of tin. I have it heated here to about 600 degrees Fahrenheit. About 3 times hotter than boiling water.
No. No.
I toss my scrap pieces back in all day long. Dirt and oil attached to them floats to the surface. I'm glad to scrape it off the side. Now then I got to clean it out. I want to make sure I got good clean metal as I'm pouring that piece. Come on.
Go ahead.
Pewter I have heated up to about 600 degrees Fahrenheit. It's about 3 times hotter than boiling water. This is why I do sand casting rather than dam building, but because my dam didn't do good. It's going to take about a half a minute for the material there that's in that sprue to cool down and solidify. What's inside the mold is already done. I don't want to open it up and have molten metal fall all over the place though.
No, not there.
As it turns solid, the metal there that's in that sprue will kind of go like a filmy color. You can see it change its appearance. It happens real suddenly. I give a countdown as it occurs. I'm usually pretty close on the countdown. We go 3, 2, 1, 0. Just turn solid across the top.
See that?
I want to give it a couple more seconds. Make sure it's solid all the way through.
Right here in system.
Some of the metal that's poured over the edge. It's also solid. It's still very hot. Okay. The sprue where I poured the metal in is a smaller circle of metal on top. It flowed through the mold. Looks like it filled it up entirely at first glance. And it came out, to me, pretty good. I've gotten this piece once in all the years I've cast it. I quit casting it after 5 years. I had too many, it did not turn out. The entire process I've done here is known as two-sided sand casting. People have been casting molten metal into molds of a variety of materials for about 4,000 years now. With this method, you can make copies of weaponry, jewelry, eating utensils. That's how the piece lay in the mold as I poured it. Came down through the sprue, flowed through the mold, filling it up. On the risers or vents that I cut, that's the only one that actually had a little bit of metal start rising up in it. Everything else turned solid right as it got to that point. I just barely got this piece. Break this piece away from this massive metal, then I'll bring it around and show it to you so you can see it closer up. This one is still hot enough to burn. You do not want to reach out and touch it. Well, I do not want you to reach out and touch it. I don't know what kind of sick people you are. Little dragon. I'm trying to drag it across. This one turned out good. And this is actually a copy. That is not my original piece. I think that's the only successful copy I've ever gotten of this piece before. But it came out real good. I'm impressed with it. Yeah. Some of the details on both sides.